"Whose turn is it?" Lieutenant Williams says, looking around the massive conference room. "LT, I know you must have some questions. We'll get to them soon." Fixing his gaze on me. David moves to the front of the room, snap into attention. "I think it's me, sir." Williams tells him to stop being a smartass and to get started. David smiles and he begins his story. "There I was, just a young sergeant. It was the summer of 2001. I was on Team 177. They were much cooler than my current teammates. You know, since we were military freefall." The room boos as Captain Stone throws an empty can of Rippet at David's head. He continues with a smile. "These guys were true warriors. I was pretty sure that they would find Bin Laden by themselves. I was just a young sergeant, first team. I was in awe. I was invincible." He looks at me with understanding. Anyway, we had been rolling out on missions for about 6 months. Afghanistan was the Wild West. Limited FOBs and resupply was a bitch. We were all over the South, running recon. He uses his fingers to make quotations. We were in and out of Kandahar, which was absolutely overrun by Taliban fighters. Every recon turned into a tactical retreat. Well, after we dropped about 1 million pounds of ordnance, it was like shooting fish in a barrel, until the Hajis moved into the caves. We killed a lot of evil sons of bitches. The weird part was that it took them months to move into the caves. It was like they were afraid to go underground, even with predators and B4s bombing them back to the Stone Age. They just stayed out in the open. Afghans aren't stupid. They come from a long lineage of fighters. They've been fighting for nearly 2,000 years. They stopped Alexander the Great in his tracks. Even the Soviet Union got sick of fighting these guys. But it was like they lost all tactical bearing. It took them months to move everybody underground, and we didn't understand why. One day, we received a mission to double back to a cave system east of Kandahar. We were told that some Taliban high-value targets were operating a cell in a system of caverns. Air support was unable to penetrate far enough underground to flush them out. We step off from COP, traveling only at night. Iran hadn't snuck in many MVGs to the terrorist cells at the time, so we were able to move unimpeded. We followed the Ergendab River for a few days, setting up a patrol base a few clicks from the cave, sending 2 3-man teams out to establish a listening observation post, monitoring the movement in and out of the cave. One of the teams comes back one night, sprinting into the patrol base, muttering Rangers, the running password. David looks at me and he says, "Don't get any ideas. It wasn't you, Slackjaws. It was the baseball team," he said with a grin. He pauses to collect his thoughts and he starts again, looking back at the room. So, the 3-man team runs into the patrol base. They looked like they had just seen a ghost. Jay, who was one of the Bravos, says, "It was freaking eating them." He is breathing heavily and panicked. I ask, "What are you talking about? Calm down." Jay takes a few deep breaths, then he throws in some dip in his bottom lip, and then he starts again. "For 48 hours, we watched Hajis armed with AKs and RPGs go in and out of the cave. There must have been at least 50 total. A few hours ago, the cave suddenly sounds like the 4th of freaking July. We see the Hajis sprinting out of the cave, screaming, stumbling over each other. They look scared to death, man. Suddenly, there was a loud roar. I swear to God I felt the ground shake as this thing moved." He paused to spit. "This thing, it comes out of the cave and is just annihilating the Hajis. It must have been 3 times their size. It's ripping through them like butter. It sideswipes a group of them with its arm, knocking them against the wall. It grabs a Haji in each hand and then squeezes. Their bodies explode, heads popping from the force. I swear that I could hear their bones break from our position 200 meters away. It grabs one of the fighters, their RPG shooting straight up, snaking off into the distance. It uses the man as a freaking war club, I swear to God. It smashes the fighter's body against half a dozen men, before biting him in half and swallowing him. The 10 Hajis that were left, they sprinted out of the cave and into the forest. I'm pretty sure they're still running. Captain Holmes, the team captain, looks Jay in the eyes, waiting for him to say that it was just all a joke. Nothing. Jay stares back at us, eyes completely glazed over. The other 2 witnesses nod in unison to confirm Jay's story. Captain Holmes stands up, walking away with his radio, speaking to Hire, who inform us to maintain our current position and wait for direction. A couple hours later, Captain Holmes informs us that we're heading to the cave. We're to kill anybody or anything in there. Jay, completely out of character, yells at the captain, "Are you serious? It took down 50 men like it was killing ants." Captain Holmes nods understandingly, only saying, "We leave in 20. David pauses like he's catching something in his throat and he starts again. We leave our rucks at the patrol base, camouflaging them as best as we can, and then we head out into the darkness. We walk using our nods because it's freaking pitch black on the mountain. A green haze replaces the darkness. The trees and fallen logs look like shadows. The entire movement, all I can think about, is becoming food for some unknown beast. NVGs and lack of sleep makes me hallucinate the entire trip. Everybody in the room nods because we've all been there. Every freaking tree looks like a giant creature. Every branch looks like an arm reaching out for me. We walk down the mountain, Jay leading us to the other position. We find nothing but blood, weapons, and casings. I take point and I step into the mouth of the cave, which must have been at least 30 feet tall. We flip our nods up on their mounts and turn on our surefire flashlights, since there wasn't enough ambient light in the cave for the goggles to be effective. This cave is absolutely massive. We're in a full wedge formation, spread out 60 meters in total, and still have room on either side. We step over the arms and legs and torsos of dead Hajis as we move. I can hear the slosh of pooled blood underneath my feet. Bones crunch as we step, heel to toe. We see tables and communication gear, all with a couple hundred meters of the cave opening. The Hajis were afraid to go in deeper, yet our dumbasses were doing just that. We continue walking for at least an hour, before the smell overcomes us. It smells like corpses and shit. He looks at us as we nod in unison. He has tears in his eyes and he starts up again. You'll never forget the first time you feel that fear. It comes over you like a tidal wave, moving from head to toe, until your body stops working. I instantly knew that something is wrong. I try to tell the team to halt, but nothing comes out of my mouth. We instinctively pull in tighter and face outward, our flashlights darting back and forth against the pitch black walls. I see the ridges of these ancient caves and the giant stalagmites. Suddenly, what I think is the wall begins to move. My flashlight catches this enormous beast. It looks like a man, but it is at least 15 feet tall. Its head and hands look disproportionate to its body. Absolutely massive. It slowly turns its head at me, peeking around a cavern wall, its eyes glowing unnaturally from my flashlight. Smiling, it speaks in ancient Hebrew.
Israelite, I hate his chosen.
With the most menacing look on its face. The evil is nothing you can see on a human, no matter how terrible they are. It bends down and flicks me. I swear to God, it flicks me like a human would flick a bug. The blow knocks me backward and against the wall, and the creature laughing so loud that the cavern shakes. The team opens up on the beast. He pauses as I can hear the regret in his voice. We are totally unprepared. The entire team shoots center mass, That's what we were taught our entire lives. It does absolutely nothing. The creature grabs Captain Holmes and throws him against the wall, killing him instantly. It bites down on Jay's neck, snapping his head off in its mouth. Blood pours down its lips, smiling while it chews. It looks at me and it says,
Having fun yet? Where's your god now?
One by one, the team falls. I'm the last one standing. I haven't expended all of my ammo. I fall to my knees and I begin to pray. The ground shakes as it slowly walks towards me, and chewing on one of my teammates' arms. The beast is taking its time. It's taunting me. The thing picks me up around the torso, breaking through my ribs, and bringing me to eye level. It then says,
I will let you live, because you are weak and useless. You who are made in God's image, you will remember me when you sleep and you will seek death.
It then tosses me to the floor, knocking the wind out of me. The beast gathers what's left of my team and walks deeper into the cavern. I scream for it to kill me, but it just laughs maniacally and disappears into the dark. I spend the next 6 hours walking back to the patrol base. I was finally picked up by a medevac copter, and you know the rest. The CIA are on board and don't let my story see the light of day. They threaten me with prison time and death. All that I wanted was to get onto another team to avenge my brothers. And now I'm here, 5 years later with you assholes, and I did avenge my team. We avenged my team. And for that, I thank you. I'm going to have a smoke now. The conference room that I sat in had 37 chairs, each with a different nameplate. I didn't recognize the names, and they sounded like ancient Hebrew. William said, "Welcome to Task Force M. We research and kill the enemies of mankind, and those things that hide in the shadows, that campfire stories were created about. From now on, you'll be referred to as Beneya, Ben for short. Never use real names when referring to task force members. We don't know who to trust. The last man to hold your seat died in the most terrible manner, but he did so while saving his brothers. His memory and contributions to the safety of humanity will not be forgotten." The dozen operators seated had pounded the table 3 times in unison. Williams told David to give me the tour of Fob Exodus as he went back to briefing the rest of the team. David hit my shoulder, smiling in excitement, as he took me out of the conference room. There are 4 wings connected to the conference room within COP Exodus. Each represents an evil that our task force has encountered. Each is used to research and teach about those entities. The end state is to figure out how to kill them effectively, and figure out what their plans are for humanity. Generally, 2 Task Force M members are responsible for each wing. Wing 1 is all about the big guys. That giant that you helped take down was one of them. We believe they're Nephilim or Rephaim. And keep in mind that everything we learn is in theory, and we base it off first-hand accounts. Scripture and other ancient texts and legends all seem to contain stories of the giants. It's hard to prove that these things are what we believe, because they're not exactly easy to have a conversation with, he said with a chuckle. Ira, the Israeli commando, and I are in charge of this wing, mainly because we can both read and understand ancient Hebrew, and translate the scripture and text. Wing 2 covers fallen angels in physical form. 2 Force Recon Marines run that wing. They had a crazy-ass encounter with one. I'll take you to Ab to see if he'll tell you his encounter in Iraq. And so far, they spend a lot of time studying the area around the Euphrates and the Arctic underground. Wing 3 is spiritual. We don't mess with that shit much. We have a few Champlains that take care of that. Have you had any weird experiences or night terror since taking down the Neff? I nodded as he continued. Completely normal. These creatures seem to have a spiritual impact on us. It's like they can track our souls and continue to harass us after they're gone. Wait until you have an interaction while you're awake. That shit messes with your mind. So, we have Champlains that do spiritual warfare for us. Some of our braver members do it themselves. Talk to that big Scottish bastard in the SAS uniform. He'll take care of any issues if a Champlain isn't around. Wing 4 is aliens. He pauses and looks at me sheepishly before continuing. Look, people seem to be willing to believe the spiritual side or the scientific side. They think we're crazy when we start talking about both. Different members have really strong opinions on what the aliens really are. Some believe that they're demons or fallen angels. Some believe that they are from other planets. Some believe they're both. All that we know is that they are evil and view us like animals. We have a couple of CAG Delta guys that take care of that wing. They both work at the Dulles Air Force Base, and I swear that there are miles of tunnels underground there that house a few alien species, the Grey Reptilian and Nordics. Apparently those two were parts of a massive battle there, because the aliens were keeping humans as experiments and food. The interesting part was that they saw a few Neff delivered to Dulce. Most were immediately handed over to the Nordic species. I'll get into more details about the 4 wings eventually, but I think the easiest way for you to understand is for you to hear first-hand accounts from the subject matter experts. Let's head over to Wing 2. I'll see if I can entice the Force Recon Marines to tell you their story. I'll offer them a snack. They seem to like crayons. He laughed way too hard at his own joke and told me to follow him to Wing 2. The 2 Marines are sitting behind computers in Wing 2, researching what looked like Greek gods, and when I walked in, pictures of angels, demons, and gods are plastered all over the walls. Names are posted next to most. Massive Antarctica in the Middle East hung from a corkboard. Tags were stuck in different spots, and had red strings leading from the tags to different pictures. One picture was hand-drawn, a yarn leading to Iraq near the Euphrates River. The word asshole was written under that picture. It was the only picture that was hand-drawn. I found myself drawn to it like a moth to a flame, staring at the charcoal outline of what looked like an angel, head down resting on its hands. The world seemed to disappear as I tried to see the angel's eyes under its cloak. I was finally snapped out of it to the sound of laughing. David was holding out a box of crayons for the Marines, who told him that he's lucky that he's too pretty to beat up. One of the Marines tosses me a blue and silver Ripet and told me to take a seat. He grabbed a can of Skull, shaking it a few times, before pulling a pinch out and stuffing it into his bottom lip. And then he started talking. We got stuck with the names that no one can pronounce, so everybody just calls me Ab, he said while laughing. We're also stuck with the most difficult wing. There have been very few encounters with what I'll refer to as angels. I believe that they're fallen angels. I don't really have the best understanding of how they come to be chained or how they're still in physical form, but I'm working on that. We got stuck in this wing because we both encountered one during the initial invasion of Iraq. We were the first ones in, the shittiest equipment men. We didn't even have an up-armored Humvee. We were rolling in those soft skins. Every day I woke up thinking that this would be the day that I met my maker. I didn't realize that the Republican Guard was the least of my worries. You Rangers were taking all the glory, assaulting airfields and shit. We got stuck assaulting a dam that sat on the Euphrates. Intel said that it had a company of Republican Guards protecting it. I guess they thought that we'd flood the area, or shut down the power to the nearby cities or some shit. The Iraqis must have thought we were monsters before we arrived. We rolled into the dam with our entire freaking battalion, ready for an all-out fight. It didn't happen. A few Iraqi soldiers hit us with some small firearms, but we took them down so fast that the rest just gave up. There must have been at least 500 Iraqis that walked out of that place. They just threw their AKs on the ground and they sat up against the wall. So we checked them all for explosives and any other weapons, and then we put them in a makeshift temporary jail. The weird thing was that they seemed eager to get out of that dam and to become prisoners. They did not want to go back in, and I soon found out why. I was just a lieutenant at the time, so my commander told me to take a squad and clear out the dam to ensure no Iraqis were hiding in there. The plant manager promised that there was no one left, but we had to make sure. So we grabbed a couple of Iraqis and tried to make them lead us through the dam. These guys nearly shit themselves. They fell to the ground sobbing, begging us just to not make them go back in. We assumed that they were worried that we were going to execute them. And then we realized that they preferred death to going back in the dam. They were begging us to kill them. Finally, the plant manager, an elderly guy, spoke to us and said he'd just take us in if we'd leave the workers outside. We agreed and we began our clearing operations. I had a squad of 7 with me, plus our long-range surveillance team, loaded up with some serious firepower just in case we got hit. We go from the bright Iraqi sun into the dimly lit dam. The door makes a loud creak as we enter. This place is freaking massive. We take sets of staircases down the dam, which seems to stretch on for miles. The walls rise above us like giants, separated by at least half a mile. Every step echoes on for an eternity. We notice all of the offices and workspaces ended on the first couple of floors, like none of the Iraqis wanted to go deeper. We finally hit the bottom of the staircases, which leads to a large steel door. To our right, we hear a loud groan and what sounds like chains moving. I ask the plant manager what the sound is. He responds, "Nothing. We do not go there." I tell him that I'll mess him up if there are prisoners being mistreated down here, as I go to investigate the wall, trying to find a door. I don't see one, just the smooth concrete that keeps the river at bay. I turn to the building manager and I threaten to beat his ass until he shows me where the door is. He finally obliges and he slides a section of the concrete out, which is hiding a large metal door. He begs us not to go in, telling us that he wishes us no ill will, or some shit like that. I finally force him through the door and I tell him he's going to have a bad day if people are chained down here. He turns the key, the lock making a grinding noise that echoes throughout the dam. The door groans as he slowly pushes it open. A large gust of wind hits me, forcing me to step back to regain my balance. We step into the unfinished tunnel, the walls looking much rougher than the rest of the dam. It looks like they had just started working on it and then they gave up. He flips a switch which turns on a dim red light, which makes the tunnel grow a hellish red. And those sounds, those horrible sounds. It sounds like a large groan, the kind of groan you can only hear from someone in agony, and then chains shuffling across the ground. We place the building manager up front and wedge out within the massive tunnel. We could have driven a tank down the tunnel. It's that massive. The sounds emanating are so loud that we think we're going to see loads of prisoners at any second. But they never appear. We just keep walking. The tunnel grows less finished as we walk, until it becomes just granite. We begin to see symbols on the walls that possess a golden glow. I seriously think that I'm tripping balls at this point. I don't have a clue what's going on. My guys are all uneasy. There's this feeling of evil all around us. I start to feel nauseated and I'm sweating profusely. It's not normal for Force Recon Marines to climb up on a mission. We were just overwhelmed with dread. These ancient, foreign symbols seem to multiply as we get deeper. We have our mag lights attached to the end of our rifles now. The lights are bouncing along the walls, jerky movements as we're just waiting to get lit up in an ambush. When we finally enter this massive cavern, it looks like a perfect dome, and those symbols are all over the place. I hear that ear-splitting sound of chains being moved to my right. All of us pause in terror, and as we see, what we thought was a massive boulder, it began to shift. My flashlight hits what looks like feet, as I slowly raise it higher. It's alive and it's absolutely huge, sitting down, head in its hands. It's humanoid, but it must be at least 50 feet tall. It's wearing only a black robe, dark as a shadow. Its hands shift, head rises as it stands. Chains that look like they should be attached to a ship's anchor, clang off the floor, glowing that same golden color as the symbols. As this thing stands, massive wings spread from its back, filling the entire cavern. It looks down at us, face hidden from the robe and shadows. All that I can see are fluorescent blue eyes staring at us from under the robe. They only admit agony, rage, and disdain. And then the thing speaks to us.
Why are you here? My time has not yet come.
It bellows. The voice shakes the dam and knocks us all backwards. We remain on the ground, terror running through our bodies. I want to raise my rifle, but I just can't move. My heart feels like it's going to burst into my chest. And then chaos ensues. Two of the Marines closest to the thing start attacking each other. They're in a pure rage, like animals. They're swearing and yelling at each other, hitting each other with their weapons. Finally, one raises his rifle and shoots the other in the face. His blood and brains splatter all over my face and chest. The Marine then sticks the M4 in his mouth and he pulls the trigger, his head exploding like a firework. The angel speaks again.
He has not yet let me loose. You will leave now if you do not want to be part of the 1/3. My time has not yet come.
We grab the dead Marines and move as fast as we can back through the dam. Guys are shaking and a couple of them are crying. These elite warriors are stripped away of everything that makes them a Marine. No bravery, no honor, and no discipline. We take an elevator up. All that I can think about is a giant hand reaching through and crushing me. I have my dead Marine over my shoulder, blood and brain matter dripping to the floor. I am praying and begging to God that we make it to the top. We finally make it to the entrance, bursting through the door and out into the sunlight. I do my debrief with my commander, who thinks I'm crazy. Half my team is having an emotional breakdown, as the corpsmen try to calm us down. The commander calls it in, and he gives me a weird look, like he was told something he didn't expect over the radio. A load of civilians that looked like scientists show up and went into the tunnel. I was told to never speak of it again as we moved on to our next mission, leaving the dam with the Marine unit that took the prisoners from us. I don't know what came of those scientists that went down. I just know that the angel chained under that dam was not one of the good ones. It had this effect on people. It turns us into a rabid maniac lusting for blood. The horror and feeling of evil were similar to the Nefs, but all of that was drowned out by unbridled rage. Half the squad that went down there never recovered. They either killed themselves or ended up in mental wards. The only thing that I've been able to come up with is the biblical reference to the 4 angels that will be chained until the tribulation. They will be unleashed and 1/3 of the world will die. Maybe these things will bring out the worst of humanity. Maybe they'll force people to kill each other like animals. All I know is that I really hate that thing. It killed 2 great Marines and drove 5 others crazy. There have been stories that have since come out of that dam. Iraqi prisoners that were held there. The Marines have spoken of the fear of the Iraqis have of that place. They complain of the beast that lives under the dam. Even the Marines would draw straws before making rounds. I just hope that this thing dies and rots in hell. Why can we now see it? Is it about to be released? David looks at me and says, "That was the first of 4 wings. Are you ready for the other 3?